Hello viewers, Mr. Nyati back again with another video which is now focusing on section B. Let me just clarify that the next videos that will be following now we are going to be focusing on section B of science paper 1, which is physics, because 5124 is the code for science, but /1 is physics. So this is basically physics, and we are going to go to section B. And I suggest that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, leave a comment in the comment section, and also like the video. Alright, so we go to the question in section B. The question reads as follows. B1 says figure B1.1 shows the main parts of measuring instruments found in a laboratory labeled as A and B. So you have two instruments that have been put here, and they have been labeled A and B. So now what you're supposed to do there in answering this question, identify those instruments and be able to label, if at all it is necessary, to label what you can be able to label on those instruments. Okay, so now when we look at these two instruments, these are instruments that are used to measure length. Now remember that in a laboratory, the instrument that has always been prescribed to measure length is a meter rule. But we understand that there are some objects where the meter rule cannot accurately do its part. For example, if you want to measure the thickness of the hair, for instance, that would not be a good thing to choose a meter rule as an instrument that will appropriately measure the thickness of hair. But another instrument will be used to measure the physical quantity of length, but in this case you are looking at the thickness of hair. And so there are these instruments that we normally use in a laboratory, and the names, there is micrometer, screw gauge, and a vernier calipers. Now we need to be able to identify the two, because when you look at them, one is a micrometer screw gauge, the other one is a vernier calipers. So now, which one is a vernier calipers and which one is a micrometer screw gauge? So when you look at this, I would first go for this one to say, when you see this instrument, it has the main scale and the vernier scale. Okay, the longer scale is the main scale and the shorter scale is the vernier scale. This concludes the fact that this is a vernier calipers. Then the other one is the micrometer screw gauge, because we have the thimble reading being shown here. Okay, so now what are the names? We've discovered that A is a micrometer screw gauge, B is a vernier calipers. Those are the answers. So let's go to questions. Name instruments A and B. A is micrometer screw gauge, B is vernier calipers. Okay, in that order. So all right, in that way. Now I want you to be mindful of the spellings. You know, physics or any other science is something that you really need to be careful with, the small and minor things that could be considered as huge mistakes. Look at the spelling for micrometer. You know, micrometer is not written like this. Most of you like writing like this. Okay, this is not the correct spelling, but this. Okay, so there is a difference between this and this. There is a difference. This is the SI unit, while this is the instrument. Please pay attention to that. Okay, instrument, SI unit. What is the SI unit for length? It's a meter. What is the instrument used to measure length? Meter rule. What is the instrument used to measure specified length, such as the thickness of hair? It is a micrometer. A micrometer, this one, because this is for an instrument or a device. I wanted to just explain that. We move on to the next question. The question says, which physical quantity is measured by instruments A and B? Well, it's length, For B, it's in length. Some of you may even be tempted to say thickness of hair, internal and external diameters of cylindrical objects. No, please, all that is length. The physical quantity, there are 7 physical quantities, especially base quantities, that you need to know. They are 7. We have length, we have time, we have mass, we have temperature, we have amount of substance, and we have electric current, then we have luminous intensity or light intensity. You need to know this. So when a question is asked to say which physical quantity is being measured by instrument so and so, you should be able to identify that. So here, whether they are measuring the thickness of hair, whether they are measuring the thickness of a razor blade, or whether they are measuring the internal and external diameters of cylindrical objects, you need to know that what you are measuring there is length, please. So we move on to question C. What is question C saying? Question C is saying, which instrument is most suitable to measure the thickness of a razor blade? Well, the instrument is instrument A. You can write micrometer screw gauge. If you like, you can write instrument A. You'll still be awarded with a mark because of the way the question is phrased. Because you've been asked what instrument A is, you've stated it's a micrometer screw gauge. But again, micrometer screw gauge is also instrument A. But the best is micrometer screw gauge, but you can still put instrument A and you'll still be given a mark. Okay. So this is where the question ends, and you'll be given a mark for this, you'll be given a mark for this, you'll be given a mark here and a mark here, which all this results to 4 marks, and that's what you'll be given, or the mark allocation. It's important to pay attention to that. I hope this video was helpful. Bye-bye.